This is Aaron Berryman with the Real Estate Action Network. Today we're actually going to be speaking with one of our clients, Robert, who has been asked to be a passive investor on a potential investment deal that one of his colleagues came to him on. He had some questions of us, and we're going to help him kind of work through some of the issues and hopefully make him a lot of money in the process. Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Aaron Berryman. How are you?
Hey, man, doing fine. Thanks for calling me. How's everything?
Everything's good. Everything's good. Staying busy, but I'm here to help. Talk to me. What's going on?
Okay. Tomorrow I'm supposed to meet the gentleman that I was telling you about with this possible trustee on this house,
Sure.
and I just wanted to review kind of what you had talked to me about and make sure I have all my ducks in a row. I
Okay.
see him.
Okay. Not a problem. I'd be happy to help. So let me just make sure that I'm clear in terms of the scenario. So this gentleman's buying a house. The property has a significant amount of equity into it. He's got a decent amount of cash of his own that he's ultimately putting into the property, but he needs you to come in and kind of serve as a bridge lender to satisfy the balance that he needs to bring to the table in order to ultimately get the deal done. Correct?
I think that's right, and maybe the more accurately, I think I think he's trying to help me see that there is some money to be made, and I don't want to say that he's doing this as a favor to me, or yes, I think it's both mutually beneficial, but I think he could probably even do it without me. But let's go with your analysis that he's bringing me in and needs my 5,000. Let's
Okay.
go with that.
So just to kind of reiterate, the he's asking for $5,000, and in exchange for getting $5,000 from you today, he's claiming that he's going to be able to give you $30,000 in return in the next 30 to 60 days. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. And yeah, it seems a little odd that he only needs 5,000 and he's willing to give you that rate of return. I mean, we're really talking about, gosh, I guess that's a 600 percent return on your money. I mean, in a couple of months, that's really exorbitant. I mean, it's great for you if it actually ends up working out, but that seems a little odd to be honest with
All right. Now, I want odd. I want odd because I have some reservation.
you. Okay,
And it may just be that proverbial thing that if it sounds too good to be true, it is.
right.
Uh, and so when I was riding with you a couple of weeks ago, I asked your opinion, and if your opinion has changed, I need to know that. Where I told you I would get a trustee uh, and in 30 days or 45 days. And you said, yep, I think that's great. You get a trustee that be recorded. You get a note for 35 because you give me the five back as well as the 30.
Absolutely, and I still agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, if he's willing to pay you that type of return, you take it. I just find it odd that he's proposing that because certainly, most people would jump on being able to get 10, for example, back from their five. If they've got five and then he gets another five back, that's a great return on their investment, right? That's 100% return
Exactly.
on their investment. So
Exactly.
he's giving you significantly more than that. I guess six times more than that. So that's quite a bit. And and you're thinking that that might be just kind of an entree to maybe introduce you into something greater. Is that kind of what you're
Yeah,
thinking?
yeah, that's what he has said, and that's what he has said, and hopefully there'll be a future thing. Now, he's in the ministry. He remembers me from let's say 25, 30 years ago.
Okay.
At least he knew my mom,
Okay.
and so we bumped into each other quite by accident. And I'm thinking part of this is how do I want to say, kind of like a generous thing of, hey, you're a pastor. I think, I can help you out. I'm going to make a lot of money on this. 30,000 for you, not that it's peanuts, but 30,000 is no big thing for me when I'm going to make, maybe two, 300,000 more.
Sure. I mean that's a very benevolent gesture, and it would be curious to really ascertain what his rationale for bringing you the deal would be. I mean, I guess there's probably million people he could have gone to, especially if he's in the ministry, to get $5,000 from, right? Especially offering that type of return. So if it's just a benevolent thing and he just wants to help you out because you're a friend and there's a long term connection, then go for it. You really have very little to lose other than the $5,000. However, you almost would think, well, if he wants to be benevolent, why not just give you $25,000, right? Why not just give you a gift for $25,000 when he's done with the deal, as opposed to, or $30,000, right? When he's done with the deal, then having you get involved in this deal that you may not ultimately need to be involved in. So that's what's a little bit curious. But you're completely protected if you go about it in the way that we talked about, which is essentially ask if it's business, you keep it business, and it's $5,000 investment for a $30,000 return, right? And you want to make sure that it's 30,000, not 25 plus your 5, because I don't know.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It may be 25 plus my 5, but I'm pretty sure it's 30 plus my 5.
Okay. Well, so either or. I mean, that's still a great deal for you, no matter what. I mean, even if he gave you 2,500 back and not 25,000, it would still be a good deal in 30, 60 days, right? But you just want to make sure that your paperwork is in order, that you're protecting yourself, because still $5,000 is $5,000, and you don't want it hanging out in the wind, right?
Exactly.
So what you want to do, real simple, is when he closes, you just want to make sure, before he closes, you want to make sure that you draft what's called a note and a deed of trust. The deed of trust is essentially the document that gets recorded with the county recorder, meaning that once he does anything with that property, whether he refinances it, he sells it, or transfers it in any sort of way, you have to be notified, and your lien needs to be ultimately taken care of. So you need to get paid your $30,000 or $35,000, whatever the case might be. That needs to be drafted and put together prior to going into escrow. The note is what specifies the term that's secured by that deed of trust. So essentially, the note will say, in your particular scenario, that you are lending $5,000, and in 60 days from the date of execution, you are going to be receiving $25,000 or $30,000, whatever the case may be, plus your principal investment. And the note should also say that you have recourse in terms of either foreclosure or pursuit of your investment after that term. So the note basically is kind of like your contract. That's the agreement. It spells out what your terms and parameters are of your agreement, and then the note is the thing that's recorded to make sure that he can't circumvent you in any sort of way if he ultimately repositions or sells a property.
Okay, and I'm not trying to be picky here, but you said no twice. But I'm understanding the first thing is the note, and the trustee is the thing that gets recorded.
Right. So with your current house, right, you got what was given to you from the previous seller or the developer was it was more than likely what's called a grant deed, and that deed basically says that you're on title. You also had a deed of trust from your mortgage company that said, hey, this property belongs to Robert, right? But we have a deed in trust that he will pay us the balance of our loan over the course of the next 30 years, for example, right? So you're going to say the same thing, except for it being 30 years, it's going to be 30 days, or it'll be 60 days, or whatever the case might be. But you're going to record it just like the mortgage company recorded it. You record that with the county recorder in your in the area. So it would be the Los Angeles County recorder in this instance, and you can either do that in Norwalk, or you can do that in West LA. Either or. Norwalk's pretty close, so you would just take that down, or you could just have the title company run that over as well. So if it is actually going through escrow, they can record that also through escrow. And once it's recorded, you're protected. You're in that deal for $5,000 with the return of $30,000. If he doesn't pay you that $30,000, you have recourse. You can foreclose on the property, and because it has such a great deal of equity in it, you'd actually own that property if you foreclosed on it with the responsibility, however, of making sure that you repay the first lien holder.
Understood. Now, I'm supposed to meet him in the morning. We're supposed to go to escrow.
Okay.
They've already opened escrow.
Okay.
I think I should have this conversation with him this evening before we go down there. And if that's not the understanding, he and I both know that.
Right. Absolutely. I think that's critical. So really, you know what I would do in this case, Rob? I would really initially ask him what his perception or what his plan was to get you your money back. I would just let him talk, because that would give you some insight as to whether or not, you know, he, one, either knows what he's doing, two, might be taking, you know, you for granted or advantage of you, and then three, it gives you some leverage to be able to kind of counter whatever he says if it's inconsistent with what we've talked about.
Got it. Now, he did tell me several weeks ago that he had planned to refinance. So let me just take a couple more minutes.
Okay.
He's trying to line up, let's say, several $1 million.
Sure.
From lenders, as you talked about, hard money lenders, and all this. But he's trying to get several $1 million because he has done this before.
Okay.
So this is basically, you know, flipping his house up there on Virginia Road.
Right.
What he told me was that he had planned to refinance. He was dealing with refinance it in 30 days.
Okay.
And that's how I was going to get paid.
Right.
And so really it's based on him buying it and refinancing it, upgrading it, doing some other stuff, and then selling it later.
Right, but you are going to get your return or your money back plus the interest or plus the fee in 30 to 60 days, right? You're not going to have to wait for him to rehab the property, fix it up, market it, and sell it. You get your money.
And you know what? I will make sure I ask you that, because as I let him know, as he said, well, I want to get this $5 instead of. I said, you can do whatever you want, but basically we're sticking to the story you told me when we started.
Right.
And then if that's not going to happen, it's not a deal.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't be so hard line with him. As long as you can get a deed of trust on that property, I'd take it all day long. I don't care if he's paying me in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. If you are on or 190 days or because at the end of the day, you're going to have an agreement that's going to state that he's supposed to pay you back within a certain amount of time.
Right.
You're going to have a $5,000 investment. He's, from my understanding, securing hard money, meaning that he's going to have to at least have close to 40 to 30%, 30 to 40% equity position in that property, and your little $5,000, not to discount it, is nothing relative to what the overall cost is. So if he wants to, play games or is unable to pay you back or whatever the case might be, wants to extend the term, then at that point you have all the leverage in the world. You can do a number of different things. You can give him time. You can negotiate to get more. You can foreclose, and you legitimately have a case to foreclose. There are services all day long that will foreclose for private lenders in second and third position. So you're going to be a private lender in second position behind a first. The first is going to have 60 to 70%. They're going to have 60. They're going to have a loan at 60 to 70% of the future value, more than likely, and your 5,000 will be a very, very small percentage.
I got you.
All right, so I would feel him out. Make sure you understand what his intentions are, when he actually plans on paying you back, how much he plans on paying you back, and what the structure he intended on doing it would be. Now, if he just says, "Hey, man, we've got a gentleman's agreement," then obviously something might be a little fishy, because you said he'd done it before.
And it's not that. It is not that. We're going into escrow. I'll be giving my check to the escrow company.
Okay.
And the thing that you shared with me, you let me know that I'd be having a trustee.
Okay, well, yeah, if you have a deed of trust, man, you're good. You're good. Like I said, I think I think the amount that he's giving you, again, we're gonna, you know, we're gonna lean towards positivity and hope that he's just being benevolent and he's giving you a great rate of return, and there's no other ulterior motives that might be not so nice. But let's assume that he does the right thing. But given the fact, if you've got a deed of trust on the property and it's got a bunch of equity in it, you're protected, no matter what. Okay.
All right. All right. Well, if worse comes to worse, and I go through and something happens, I'll be calling you back to see if you can help me out. If it ends up being something of where I need to make a few payments a few months while this thing forecloses, so I don't lose my little $5,000.
Not a problem, man. All I want you getting 30 back. Just go ahead and get me 15, and we should be good to go.
I heard it.
That's $15, Rob. Not 15,000. Just $15.
Well, I was about to say that. If $15, take it out, man.
Let's do it.
Of course. Well, I thank you for your time.
You got it.
And my next call will be him, so we don't spend a lot of time tomorrow. I got things to do, but I really value you, value your counsel, and I appreciate the time you've taken.
You've got it. You got it, Rob. Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.